Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to negotiate about. So today is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 1 year anniversary as permanent Manchester United manager. Now I am going to give you my review on it. I'm going to pinpoint some of the positives out so far from his tenure. Also going to pinpoint some of the negatives out so far from his tenure. So obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got the job on a permanent basis at Manchester United, reflecting on what he did when he was the interim manager, and he was the interim manager for around 3 months. Don't forget, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer won his first 8 games. Also, too, he only lost one of his first 17 games, and he won 14 out of 19 in all competitions. And Solskjaer's last game as the interim manager was that 3-1 win against PSG. Obviously, that was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's most iconic moment as Manchester United manager, because obviously, we was 2-0 down from the first leg, and of course, Manchester United did overcome a 2-goal deficit. So, yeah, so that's, the main explanation why we give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job on a permanent basis. Don't forget, he did sign a 3-year contract. Now, obviously, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got the job permanently, his record has been disastrous, so that's a negative. I think, Solskjaer had lost 5 of his last 9 league games, 5 of the last 9 towards the back end of last season, so that's definitely a negative. And we've endured quite a lot of bad results under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer tenure at the moment. I think one of the worst defeats we've had under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era was the 4-0 defeat to Everton last April. Don't forget, after that game, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had come out and made a public apology. So we do give him a lot of credit for that. Also, too, we lost to Wolves last season. Was it twice? They knocked us out of the FA Cup quarter-final. To be fair, we did enjoy a good FA Cup run last season. Also, too, Barcelona did knock us out of the Champions League. We also lost to Cardiff at the end of last season by 2-0. So we've enjoyed some very, very bad results under Solskjaer and that. But obviously, this season, Manchester United have enjoyed their worst start to a Premier League season ever. So it's our worst start to a Premier League season for around 30 years. And he has been under pressure, Solskjaer, for the vast majority of this season. But, there's actually, a few things, that I do credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for, is that, Manchester United, we are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions, and this is our best vein of form since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. I also do believe that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's approach to the big games has also been very, very good. Prime example, he showed a lot of tactical flexibility, and our record against the big six sides this season has been very, very good. I think we've registered like 17 points against the big six sides this season. And, don't forget Solskjaer, has beaten Pep Guardiola 3 times this season, and he's become the first manager to do that in history. Also, too, he's beaten Chelsea 4 times since he's come in. We have not lost to Chelsea since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in. Also, drew with Liverpool earlier on the season. Also, has beaten Tottenham twice as a manager. So there are the positives you can take. Also, too, we've got to give Solskjaer a lot of credit because this season he has progressed to the FA Cup quarter-finals. Winning the FA Cup quarter-finals now for the 6th season on the trot. And also, too, he has progressed to the last day of the Europa League. And, the Europa League and the FA Cup are two ambitions for us because the Europa League is a chance for us getting some silverware on the board. Plus, it's another route to Champions League qualification. And also, too, the FA Cup is a priority for us because that's a chance for us getting some silverware on the board. But, obviously, you still got, back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, definitely. But he has been now here over the year, including the time when he was the interim manager. Solskjaer has been at Manchester United now for around 15 months. But, we've had some big wins under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. The biggest wins, I can recall Manchester United having, obviously, was the 4-0 win against Chelsea earlier on in the season. 6-0 against Tranmere in the FA Cup. That was our biggest away win since we beat Nottingham Forest 8-1 back, was it, in 1999, which is over 20 years ago now. Also, too, I think we're beating we're beating Cardiff 5-1. That was also a big win. That was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first game as Manchester United manager. Obviously, don't forget Solskjaer, began his managerial career with Cardiff, and obviously, his record was disastrous at Cardiff with Solskjaer. You know, he only enjoyed a very, very short tenure with Cardiff. You know, he only managed around 29 games. The main explanation why he got sacked from Cardiff is because he got Cardiff relegated. And don't forget, Man United were in a relegation battle earlier on. We were facing a relegation battle earlier on in the season. Also, too, we had a 4-1 win against Newcastle, so that was another big win we had under Solskjaer. You know, so we've had quite a few big wins under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Also, too, a few other things I do credit him for is that, you know, with him promoting the youth, because Solskjaer has got a lot of trustworthy in his young players, and like Solskjaer did confirm at the start of this season that, you know, the young players would get given their opportunities, and the young players have been given their opportunities. And, you know, the likes of Mason Greenwood's done very, very well this season. Mason Greenwood's in his first season in the senior squad with Manchester United. I do believe, wait there a minute. I do believe, that's a bit dark right there. I do believe that, you know, he's had a really, really good season, yeah, and made his full debut in the 2-0 defeat to Cardiff at the end of last season. But Mason Greenwood can play as a number 9, and you can also play him on the right-hand side. So, yeah, very, very good young player. He's only, 18 or 19 years of age now, is Mason Greenwood. So, got to give him a lot of credit. He seldom starts in the Premier League. He's played a couple of times in the Premier League this season, but he tends to start more in the cup games and that. So, it's good that, you know, he's been, you know, given his opportunities. Also, too, same perception on Brandon Williams. I think he's also done really, really well this season. And this is Brandon Williams' first season in the senior squad. And obviously, initially was our first choice left back, but obviously reflects on the form of Luke Shaw since he's come back from injury. I think now Luke Shaw has been emerged as our first choice left back. So give Brandon Williams a lot of credit. Tuan Zebe, he did well early on in the season. Obviously, you know, Diego Dalot, he's sustained quite a few injuries this season, so don't really have a perception on him. Dalot's obviously a backup to Wan-Bissaka, and also to James Garner. A lot of United fans are saying, you know, he should get more opportunities next season because James Garner has seldom played. Angel Gomez, there has been uncertainty over his future, and this is the main explanation why Angel Gomez has seldom played under Solskjaer this season. Angel Gomez has been linked with a move to Chelsea. There's been a lot of talks about him going to Chelsea. As reports did confirm yesterday, like he updated you on, he said that Man United had renewed contract talks with Angel Gomez. And reportedly Man United have increased their offer to around £30,000 a week. Plus, we've included an option of a third year. So we've offered him a 2-year contract with an option of a third year. The previous offer was around £25,000 a week, but I don't think Angel Gomez was satisfied with this offer. Don't forget, Angel Gomez, you know, he became the youngest player to represent Man United since Duncan Edwards back in 1950, and became the first player born in the 2000s to make a Premier League appearance. So let's just put that into the equation. Up until this point, Gomez has spent the entirety of his career with Manchester United. You know, he's been a United player since the age of 8. I think he's been in our senior squad since 2017. But he's got around 3 months left, by the way, on his current contract. So I think, you know, Solskjaer does believe his future lies with the football club. Also, Chong, his appearances have been limited this season. You know, he hasn't played as many games to the extent as, you know, he probably thought he would have done, or many Manchester United fans thought he would have done. You know, Chong, of course, made his competitive debut in the 2-0 win against Reading last season. Yes, he did. And he's played a couple of times. Don't forget the other week he signed a 2-year contract with an option of a further year. So he has committed his future with the club. Chong's been here since 2016, you know, because we did get him from Feyenoord. And I think he made around, I can't remember how many appearances he's made. I know Gomez has made around 10 first team appearances. 6 of those appearances have come this season. But the likes of Chong, Greenwood and Williams, they've all had more minutes under their belt than Angel Gomez. But yeah, it's good that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got a lot of trustworthy in his young players. And I think in general, a lot of young players are excited about the prospects of actually coming to Manchester United in the summer, because they do like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy of recruiting young players to the club. And in that aspect, he does replicate Alex Ferguson, because don't forget, Ferguson did develop a lot of young players. So that's another thing I do credit him for. I also credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for There's something else I credit him for. With the 5 players he has recruited in so far since he came in. Obviously, Solskjaer has spent in the region of around £220 million on 5 players. Obviously, Solskjaer didn't get anyone in his first transfer window as Man United manager, but in the 2 previous windows, he has recruited 5 players in. Obviously, last summer we got Daniel James in for £15 million. That was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first sign as Man United manager. And my perception on Daniel James is that, I think he's done really, really well for Man United. I'm surprised he's played as many games to the extent as he has done. It's because he enjoyed a good start, didn't he? But he hasn't been to his best in the last month or so. It was good to see him score against Lask, and that was also another big win under Solskjaer, beating Lask by 5 goals to 0, I forgot to mention earlier. But he ended his goal drought against Lask, because that was Daniel James' first goal for Manchester United since the 31st of August. So that was obviously, very, very good to see. Daniel James has been one of our fastest players this season. He's good at getting runs in behind. Maybe his crossing needs to improve and his tracking back, but I think that's, only some aspects of his game that do need to improve. But, coming all the way from the Championship to the Premier League and to play as well as he has done, he does deserve a lot of credit. But like I mentioned, we only paid £15 million for Daniel James. And the second signing Solskjaer made was Wan-Bissaka last summer. Man United, of course, paid £45 million for him. And he's also done really, really well. I think he broke in Crystal Palace's senior squad, was it in February 2018? But since then, he's just been absolutely sensational. Enjoyed a good season with Palace. He's replicating this at Manchester United. His defensive contribution's always been good. His distribution's always been good. A lot of people have had element of concerns about, the attacking side of his game, but recently, I've seen a lot of attacking intent from Wan-Bissaka, and, that's very, very good to see. So he was a good buy by Solskjaer. The third signing we made was Harry Maguire. He came in last summer from Leicester for £80 million, and I think he's also settled in really, really well as Harry Maguire. He's our second most expensive signing and the most expensive defender in the world. But I've got to say, Harry Maguire's composure is good. His composure is good, his calmness is good, his awareness is good, and his distribution is very, very good. And I think Man United did make the right decision by giving Harry Maguire the captaincy on a permanent basis. We give him the captaincy reflecting on Ashley Young's departure. But yeah, he did recruit them 3 players in last summer, but we still know that wasn't enough. So obviously, then in January, Solskjaer brought another 2 players in. He brought Bruno Fernandes in for around £68 million, with add-ons included. I think is the club's 4th most expensive signing. And I've got to say, Bruno Fernandes is one of the best players that Man United have recruited in since the Alex Ferguson era. And we've recruited over 30-odd players in since the Ferguson era. But, with Bruno Fernandes, he's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. I think he's got 3 goals and 4 assists. Very instrumental, decision making very, very, very good, and he is definitely making the difference in the team. Is Bruno Fernandes? Don't forget he won the Premier League Player of the Month for February. But yeah, very, very good player, and I'm actually excited about the prospects of Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes playing together in our midfield, because I do believe they'll complement each other fantastically well. And Bruno Fernandes is going to be here for at least the next 5.5, 6 years, because that's the contract, that Bruno Fernandes did sign. But he's basically replicating what he did in his 2.5 years at Sporting Lisbon. People will say, we should have basically, got Bruno Fernandes at an earlier point, because, don't forget, we was relentlessly linked with him last summer. But yeah. So yeah, we got him in, and obviously, the 5th signing Solskjaer made was Odion Ighalo. Obviously, we've got Odion Ighalo on loan, but earlier on in the season, Solskjaer did make an admission saying, it's likely that he will decide to make Odion Ighalo's transfer permanent. And like I mentioned, Odion Ighalo is a good cover-up to Marcus Rashford. Odion Ighalo, has got 4 goals in 3 starts for the club. He's totally comparison to our other attacking players, because he's an option of a different type of centre forward, isn't he? He's highly experienced. He's been a United fan since he was a boy, so put that into the equation. But yeah, it's revealed how much it will cost Man United to get Odion Ighalo on a permanent transfer, and it's revealed it will cost us around £15 million. Now, obviously, it says we're likely to extend Odion Ighalo's loan due to the coronavirus pandemic. We're likely to extend his loan until June the 30th, because his current loan spell ends on the 31st of May. But obviously, Shanghai Shenhua, his parent club, who are from China, they've are trying to convince him to turn down a permanent move to Man United, because Sky Sports reported out the other day and a few other media outlets, and they said that Shanghai Shenhua are willing to offer him around £400,000 a week. They're willing to offer him £400,000 a week before tax, plus a 2-year contract extension, so that could convince him not to, remain at Manchester United or Dina Gallo. But he said the other week that he was even willing to take a pay cut to remain at Man United. And Man United at the moment are paying like a third of his wages. So yeah, got to give Solskjaer, the credit, for the players that he has recruited in so far. But if Manchester United get qualification for the Champions League for next season, then I think we can, get the right calibre players in the summer transfer window. Don't forget, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did reveal that he thinks we need around 3 signings in the summer transfer window, to become title contenders next season. Because if Solskjaer is given another season at the club, then he knows he's got many expectations to exceed. I said, didn't I, at the start of this season, that the expectations would have been to finish in the top 4, maybe perhaps get some silverware on the board, because it is a transition period. And it's been a transition period for quite some time now with Manchester United. It's been a transition period. But, definitely Solskjaer does deserve at least another season with Manchester United, because this is his first full season at the football club at the moment. But yeah, we've been in a very, very good run of form recently. And, it seems ages ago since football was last played. Obviously, the last defeat Man United had was the 2-0 defeat to Burnley at Old Trafford. I think that was Burnley's first win at Old Trafford for 62 years, was it? But since then, all of a sudden, Manchester United have seemed to have turned a corner. And I think didn't we lose to Palace early on in the season 2-1. We haven't lost a lot at Old Trafford this season, to be quite honest. I think we've only lost 2 or 3 times in the league at Old Trafford this season. But definitely give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer more time at the club. Obviously, there has been reports emerging out saying, if Man United don't get qualification for the Champions League for next season, Solskjaer could be still axed, at the end of the season. Then if Solskjaer is to be sacked, it's probably likely that Man United will recommend Pochettino or Massimiliano Allegri as his replacement. But, Manchester United haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers, because we've already sacked 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era. Of course, we sacked David Moyes after he endured 8 or 9 months at the football club. David Moyes should have never been recommended in. And Ferguson, was at fault for ever recommending him in, but that's the only mistake Alex Ferguson did make. But it's one of the main explanations why we've been so inconsistent in the last 6 or 7 years, is, reflecting on the amount of mistakes Manchester United have made. But yeah, so we did the right thing by obviously, getting rid of David Moyes. Obviously, after Moyes left, we got Louis van Gaal in. His philosophy, again, wasn't right for the football club. He did win the FA Cup with us, but wasn't good enough. He went. And then obviously after Van Gaal, Jose Mourinho came in, and he endured 2.5 years at Manchester United. And obviously, the main explanations why it didn't work out under Mourinho is because when we got him in, I think it was too late. We recommended him in too late. I do believe now, personally speaking, he's past his sell-by date, but, he's got a good pedigree as Mourinho, but it didn't work out for Man United because obviously he had bad disputes with our top players, had bad disputes with the board, and this is why it didn't work out under him. And obviously, he did win 2 trophies in his first season, to be fair. But yeah, and he went after 2.5 years. It does remain uncertain, whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to last longer than Jose Mourinho did. I don't know, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, Solskjaer's our 4th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. But, Solskjaer, was talking about, how he had to overhaul Manchester United when Jose Mourinho got sacked. Because a lot did need to change. And I think, quite a lot of things have changed under the Solskjaer era than what I saw under the Mourinho era. I think he's changed of tactics. He's also changed of players as Solskjaer. He's changed of personnel. And now, speaking, he seems to be getting the best out of the players, because Solskjaer is aware that he's inheriting the vast majority of Jose Mourinho's players, because the vast majority of these players are Jose Mourinho's. Obviously, Van Gaal brought a lot of players in. But obviously, there's still a couple of players even the Van Gaal era who he brought in. There's still Matty from the David Moyes era. The vast majority of the players that we had under Ferguson have now gone. I think there's only Jones here and De Gea now here from the Alex Ferguson era. So don't forget, Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team. So he has changed quite a lot, because look at the players that have done really, really well. A lot of players have improved under Solskjaer, and one player I think that's really improved under Solskjaer is Anthony Martial. Really improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Don't get me wrong, he's endured some difficult spells as a Manchester United player. Martial has sustained quite a few injuries this season as a Manchester United player, and you can say that's had a bad effect on him. Martial this season has been operating in that number 9 role, even though he predominantly plays out wide on the left, Anthony Martial. But he's on, 15 or 16 goals, is he, this season, Anthony Martial? He is only at the age of 24, is the player. I probably think, Anthony Martial's, one of his best seasons was his debut season when we got him under Louis van Gaal. I think in that season he scored around 17 goals. Don't forget, Martial scored on his debut in the 3-1 win against Liverpool. We got him as a 19-year-old Martial. We paid around £36 million for him from Monaco. But for me, he's still a very, very imperative player. And under Mourinho, he endured a difficult time, because obviously there was a hell of a lot of transfer speculation about him leaving under the Jose Mourinho era. So yeah, and also another player that looks much better is Luke Shaw. Like I mentioned, also Luke Shaw endured a very, very difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era. Also, yeah, I think he had a fallout, didn't he, once with Jose Mourinho, did Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw has sustained quite a lot of injuries as a Man United player. He's also been criticised for his poor run of form in the past. But I've got to say, since he's come back, Luke Shaw has done really, really well. I think, you can get the best out of Luke Shaw even when he's playing as a centre-half. When we go with 3 at the back, he can do well. But Luke Shaw is predominantly a left-back. So, got to give Luke Shaw a hell of a lot of credit. Got to say as well, I think Rashford looks a much better player under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I do highly rate Marcus Rashford a lot anyway. I've been reading reports about Marcus Rashford, and it does say now he's close to returning for Manchester United, is Marcus Rashford. Don't forget, Marcus Rashford has been out with a back injury. He sustained the injury in the game against Wolves in the FA Cup, don't forget. And he has been a big miss as Marcus Rashford. But revert back to what I said, Igalo is a good cover-up for Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford has been a United player since the age of 7. He's been in our senior squad since 2016. And since then, he's become an integral part of the team. Solskjaer did actually admit, though, that, you see the best of Rashford out wide rather than him, playing centrally. But a lot of aspects of Rashford's game have really, really improved. But when the season does resume, Rashford will be back in action. But he looks a much better player under Solskjaer than what he did under Jose Mourinho. Also, Fred. I've also been very, very impressed with Fred. He's very, very impressed me as Fred. Again, Fred never really got the opportunity under Jose Mourinho. But I've got to say, Fred has confounded his critics wrong. He's confounded his critics wrong as Fred. He has received criticism in the past. I thought he was an exceptional player in Ukraine with Shakhtar Donetsk, but I've got to be honest with you, this season he's just done really, really well. I think him and McTominay have complemented each other fantastically well in our midfield. Whether Fred plays alongside Matic or whether he plays alongside McTominay, he just seems to get the best out of him. Very, very good player. Man United, of course, did pay £50 million for him from Shakhtar Donetsk. So he's another player that, looks much better under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Also, I've got to be honest with you, I think Nemanja Matic, he's another player that's really, really rejuvenated himself. Of course, don't forget the other week, Man United triggered that 1-year extension on the Nemanja Matic's contract. And he deserves it, reflects on his good run of performances, because at one point, it looked very, very imminent that Matic was going to be leaving the football club. But we've just decided to trigger that 1-year extension on his contract. Matic, is now into his 3rd season at Manchester United. Of course, he's made over 100 appearances for the club since his arrival from Chelsea. Man United paid around 40 million for him from Chelsea. Well, 35 million up front with 5 million in add-ons. So that totals £40 million. But yeah, I've criticised Matic in the past because he is a very, very slow player. But got to be honest, he's recently rejuvenated himself. Also, too, I've been very, very delighted with Victor Lindelof, he's also done really, really well this season. I think he did well last season. Man United paid £30 million for him from Benfica. He endured a difficult first season, couldn't really settle in, Lindelof, and it does take some players time to settle in, but got to be honest, this season and last season, I've seen a lot of aspects of his game that have really, really improved. He's had the odd bad game here and there, but I think him alongside Maguire, they do complement each other well. Maybe Bailly, could actually, get there ahead of Victor Lindelof, because obviously, Bay, since he's come back, he's also done really, really well. My only element of concern about Bay is that he is very, very injury prone. But prior to that, very, very good centre half. By the way, he was Jose Mourinho's first signing, was Bay. I think Bay's only scored one goal for the club, as what I know of anyway, and that came against Swansea, was it, a couple of years ago. But we paid £30 million for him from Villarreal. Yeah, from Villarreal and that. So a lot of players have definitely improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance. My verdict on Paul Pogba is that you can't really have a perception, can you, on Paul Pogba this season, because he's hardly played. Don't forget, Paul Pogba was another player that endured a very, very difficult time under Jose Mourinho, definitely. But Pogba's only played 8 times this season due to the injuries he's had. The good news is, I think, when the season does resume, Paul Pogba, will be playing again, because the other week, don't forget, Paul Pogba was back in training. Don't forget the other week, Paul Pogba was back in training and he'd had some personal coaching with Michael Carrick. But I just think there's uncertainty over Paul Pogba's future at the moment. Maybe, Man United are looking to extend his contract, because at the moment Paul Pogba's got 2 years left on his contract. 1 year with an option of a further year. Reports came out the other week and they did say we was willing to accept £100 million for Paul Pogba this summer. That figure's totally comparison to last summer, because last summer we said we wanted around £180 million for Paul Pogba. But I don't know whether he's going to be staying, and I don't know whether he's going to be going. I don't know. But maybe due to the coronavirus pandemic, maybe he could stay at least for another year. I think we're sceptical that Real Madrid and Juventus, can finalise a deal for him. I don't know, to be honest with you, but I know that obviously, Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, has been talking a lot, saying he'd like to take a great footballer to Real Madrid. Also, he believes he's having a complicated time at Manchester United, Paul Pogba. And, Ed Woodward has spoken quite a few times with Mini Raiola, to try and resolve Paul Pogba's future. And also, too, Mini Raiola has made a number of public attacks against the football club. And he has, been criticised for this. But since Paul Pogba rejoined the football club back in 2016, he's just basically had a long-running transfer saga. He's had a long-running transfer saga, and we need to end this long-running transfer saga by coming to a decision on his future. If he leaves, he'll either go to Madrid. If he doesn't go to Madrid, he'll make a return to Juventus, because he did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus. Or he could maybe go to PSG or maybe Barcelona. He's our most expensive signing at the moment, because Man United paid £89 million for him. And not only that, he's on 300 grand a week at the club, so he is one of the highest players in that. But he could still possibly leave in the summer, definitely. Could Paul Pogba. But either way, I still think Manchester United need to get a central midfielder in. So but the problems are still continuing to persist with Paul Pogba regarding his future. Also, another thing I've got to credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for is that, he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he's come to Manchester United. Around 9 players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. Now, obviously, we saw Ashley Young leave this year after he endured 8.5 years at the football club. He went to Inter Milan for like 1.5 million or something like that, was it? So we made the right decision getting rid of him. Obviously, we got rid of Marcus Rojo. He went out on loan to Estudiantes. I think we'll be negotiating on getting rid of him on a permanent transfer, because Rojo, even if he was to come back, wouldn't get in the team, because we've still got a lot of centre-halves, haven't we? Because obviously Bay and Tuanzebe are now our backups to Maguire and Victor Lindelof. So, no point in coming back. We saw obviously Marion Fellaini. He left back in January 2019. He was the first player to leave Manchester United under the Solskjaer era. We got rid of Fellaini before Solskjaer got the job permanently, by the way, but Fellaini endured 6 years at Manchester United. Obviously, Ander Herrera left last summer after he endured 5 years at the football club. It infuriated me because, one, I didn't want him to go because I thought he was a great player for us and he made a difference in our midfield. And plus, it infuriated me because we didn't cash in for him. We basically just let him go on a free transfer. Damian, he left last summer. He went to Parma. Again, looking at it from a financial point of view, I was disappointed because, we didn't even at least recruit the money that we paid for him from Torino, because we paid around 12.7 million for him from Torino. But Darmian had to go because he was surplus to requirements at the football club. I think we got like $1 million for him from Parma. And obviously, we saw Romelu Lukaku go. He went to Inter Milan for around £70 million. And of course, Alexis Sanchez is out on loan with Inter Milan. I was still hearing some reports saying that Sanchez could make a return to Old Trafford, maybe not this summer, but at some point in the future. I don't want him to come back to Manchester United. We need to get rid of him on a permanent transfer, so it will free up our wage bill completely. So a lot of players have left since his arrival. We've got Dean Enton out on loan, don't forget. Chris Smalling is out on loan. Chris Smalling's out on loan with Roma. He probably won't come back to Man United. But I think we'll get rid of around 5 players in the summer. Lingard, Pereira, Phil Jones, possibly Fosu-Mensah. Sanchez will go on a permanent transfer. Rojo will go on a permanent transfer. And possibly David De Gea could leave. Smalling will probably go on a permanent transfer. So we'll get rid of around a good 5 or 6 players in the summer. And all of that. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.